Welcome back. A recap of tonight's top story. An age-based tiered approach could soon be used to control social media access for users under the age of 18. And to discuss more on how this could be implemented, we're joined by Dr. Chew Han Ee from Singapore Management University and Anita Loh Lim, who is Chief Transformation Officer and Group Head of Touch Wellness Group. Dr. Chew, Anita, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Angela.
Thanks for having us.
Great to have you here. Now, Anita, let's start with you. Yeah. You work closely with children and youths. So what are the children saying about the risks that they face online, and what are their biggest concerns?
Okay. In 1 year, Touch Cyber Wellness, we work with about 100,000 students, parents, educators, professionals through our school programs and the community workshops. So what the children are telling us that they fear online, there are about 4 or 5 of them. On the top of the list is cyberbullying. So cyberbullying can happen to yourself or to your friends. And it usually come in the form of either spreading gossip or public shaming on social media or gaming platform. So that's one. Second one could be disinformation. That means videos, AI-generated videos, which might be falsified to generate clicks. But some of this content might be scary for the children, and it can actually cause them to be feeling very uneasy about what they see and read online. And the third one is pressure. One kind of pressure is the peer pressure. Actually, they may not want to do something, but because of the need to belong to a group, they would force themselves to do it. And after that, they may feel guilty about it. And finally, there is this pressure to maintain an online persona, which may be different from your what you are in reality. And the pressure to keep up with that sometimes can cause the children and the youth to feel like they might lose control. And if nobody responds to that post, they may feel that they are not liked by their peers. So whatever they do online has a mental health impact. And that's why for us, digital wellness is key. Whatever you do online impacts your wellness. And we hope to be able to help children, youth, and families to understand this domain and better navigate the online safely.
Well, Dr. Chew, after hearing all the challenges that the children themselves have identified, Singapore has said that social media safeguards at this point is going to be more effective than a blanket ban for now. But it's also not ruling out the ban. So do you think it's inevitable? We know countries like Australia or India already have that ban in place.
I think we should look at the bans as a last resort. What bans ultimately do is to remove accounts. So the harmful content that Anita speaks about, it's still happening with or without the accounts. So we at the forum today, we spoke more about the safety features that we would like the platforms to look into, and for the government to also look into that. So safety features such as better recommender algorithms for those content that Anita spoke about, more friction for autoplay and the infinite scrolling, and also other features such as reducing the contact between a young person and strangers. So I think it's important to note that when we look at bans, it's just fewer accounts. It doesn't mean that the spaces are safer.
So Anita, looking at all these possible safeguards, so what would a more child-safe social media platform even look like, if you can paint a picture for us?
That's actually a difficult question to answer. But what we are imagining is the social media is not just an app, it's an environment, right? Children, youth, they go there, they try to build relationships, they try to do things together with other people. And sometimes they end up doing things with strangers, and that is the risk. So I can take the analogy of a school zone. When we drive into the school zone, we know we slow down in terms of speed. We know that the children are taught traffic rules. We see parent volunteers. We see teachers sometimes helping the children to cross the road. And similarly, for the online environment, do we have these safety features in place? Are we teaching our children about the rules of online engagements? Who are we deploying to ensure that these safety measures are set up? And so in Touch, we advocate for a tiered approach in terms of access that corresponds with their developmental milestones. For very young children, we propose no access. But no access does not mean that you can't talk about it. In fact, we develop many resources to help parents to talk about this conversation as early as possible. And for teenagers, older children, we advocate for protected access. Protected access meaning, can a trusted adult be with you on this digital journey? Do you have conversations? Do you have trust between the child and a parent to talk about some of these experiences? And by the time you are a full adult, you have full access, right? So really, everybody goes through these developmental milestones, and we hope that with the child's life course and transition points, we can map that accordingly to give them the adequate emotional skills and knowledge to navigate online safety.
Well, Dr. Chew, despite all these safeguards, how do we protect our children online without then pushing them into these less visible online spaces that actually make it harder for schools, for parents, and to actually protect them and have an eye out on them?
I want to emphasize that the displacement effect is real. So a lot of the young people who were at the forum spoke passionately about what they want to do to change the spaces, but they also said that if the adults try to restrict them from the social media, they have ways, and they are very ingenious. And as I mentioned, like, the harms that the adults don't see may still be happening. It's just that we're not seeing it. So we do need to, I think we can best protect the children or the young people by journeying with them. Be the trusted adult that Anita mentioned.
Yeah, and to be that trusted adult, then of course parental supervision is something we have to look into, right? So do you think the existing guidelines are enough? And from the parents' perspective, what kind of support is still needed?
I think the guidelines are very good because now we at least have something to refer. But for the parents, different families have got different family dynamics. Parenting style differs. You have the struggles of dual income family. They may not spend enough time with their children. And there may be inconsistent family routines. So we feel that instead of just telling them that, look, there is this guideline, go read it, we wanted to develop resources to support their journey. So one of those resources that we developed is called the First Device Campaign. The First Device Campaign targets parents with children from 5 to 9 years old. The point is to produce materials that will enable you to have this conversation as early as possible. So we prepare our children for first day of school. And the idea is you must also spend enough time to prepare your child for their first device. So in this toolkit that we developed, we have got a media planning board, for example. And in this media planning board, the child and the parent sits down together and they decide how much time you spend outdoor, how much time you spend online, how much time you spend gaming. So the beauty is that the child is a decision maker in this process. So we hope to inculcate some of this conversational routines or habit or culture so that as a family, they can thrive online instead of worrying that the harm will come to the children because they're not prepared.
Yeah, so the first line of defense is really to empower the child themselves,
Correct.
to regulate themselves
Yes.
and make better decisions online. So thank you so much, Anita and Dr. Chew, for coming in today and sharing your insights with us. That was Dr. Chew Han Ee and Anita Loh Lim.